guys, it's Tina and I am back, and I am here with another Get Ready With Me video, and this time I am featuring another monochromatic look, but it's with dark browns instead of the gray that I previously did. I'll link that down below in case you're interested in checking that out. But this one is using just dark browns, keeping it very smoky, very fall, and I love how it turned out. I really did want to go a little bit more warm on the eyes, like a warmer brown, but it turned out into more of a neutral tone brown, so it doesn't quite match up exactly with the lips. Next time I will try that out though. But if you want to see this very simple smoky eye look, then stay tuned and I'll talk to you soon.
We're going to start out with some skincare today. So I'm grabbing my La Prairie Skin Caviar Essence in Lotion, which is a watery gel type texture. And I'm going to mix that in with my Golden Crocus Elixir from Korres. And I'm going to pour a little bit of the essence and lotion in the palm of my hands, which this is a horrible way to dispense this product considering the price. And then I'm going to add a couple of drops of the Korres Golden Elixir. I'll work that together in my palms and then apply it to my skin using circular motions and also patting motions to press the product into my skin. And the great thing about this combination is that it absorbs really quickly into the skin without leaving a greasy, tacky feel behind. Next, I'll go in with my eyeshadow primer around my brows, which I always do to help my brows stay in place, and I'll work that product through my brows using my handy dandy eyebrow toothbrush. Once I have that product worked through, I'm going to grab my Brow Beater Microfine Brow Pencil in the shade Dark from Urban Decay. And I'm just going to outline the shape of my brows and extend the tail end of my brows, which I always fill in. And I'm making sure that I also fill in the underside of my brow and create that shape that I'm going for. Once I have the shape down, I'll go in with my Paula Eye Definer brush. This is just a flat top brush, and I'll use this to work the pencil through the brows to soften those lines and make the brow look a lot more natural. Then I'll go in with my All-in-Brow 3D Brow Kit from Dior, and this is the dark kit, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of the powder through the sparse areas of my brows just to fill in the gaps and really soften the brows some more. Then I'll grab my eyeshadow primer. This is the Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion, just to help my eyeshadow stay in place all day and help prevent creasing. Next, I'm going to grab my concealer. This is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Maximum Coverage Concealer in the shade Dark Neutral. And I'm just going to apply that directly under my brows to clean up the shape of the brows and also act as a subtle highlight under the brows. And I'm going to blend that down using my Anastasia Beverly Hills No. 18 Concealer Brush just to pull that product down on the brow bone area and also to create that defined shape on the underside of the brows. This will help to cover up any hairs that you didn't tweeze as well, so it's a good tip to use concealer. Now I'm going to blend out that concealer using a Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush just to remove some of that excess product and fade it downwards onto the crease. I'm also going to use some of this concealer on my lid to act as an eyeshadow base, and I'm just applying it directly to my lids and then blending it out again using that Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. This is a synthetic brush which works really well with cream products, and I'll also use the warmth of my fingertips to further blend out that concealer product. Now we're ready for the eyeshadows, so I'm grabbing my MetalMatte eyeshadow palette from Kat Von D, and I'm grabbing the shade Suede on a Eddie Funkhouser large crease brush. Suede is just a matte caramelly shade, and we're going to use this as our blend-in transition shade in the crease. So I'm just going to apply this using back and forth windshield wiper motions in the crease to deposit an even layer of this shadow, and this is going to help again with blending out the deeper shades on the lid upwards into the brow bone area. So make sure you just have a nice even layer of that eyeshadow down. Now we're going in with the lid shade. This is Oak, also from the MetalMatte palette from Kat Von D, and I'm going to apply this directly to the lid. I'm using an Eddie Funkhouser eye shader brush. This is just a fluffy eyeshadow brush. And for this, I'm slowly building up the color because this is a matte shade and it can get out of place. It's a darker color, so you want to slowly build up color. So what I'm doing is picking up the color on the brush, tapping off the excess and then pressing that color over the lid using tap-in motions, and then I'll use back and forth motions just to smooth out the color and blend out the edges. So again, just slowly build up the shade so it doesn't get overwhelming all at once. You definitely want to move slow with deeper shades, so like I said, I'm just building it up. And then I'll go back in with the blending brush, the same Eddie Funkhouser blending brush, and pick up a little bit of the color and now go around the crease and brow bone area using those same windshield wiper motions. And since we have that blending shade in the crease, it's going to help us to fade out that dark color and remove any harsh lines that we created with that eyeshadow. So just go back and forth slowly and blend out the edges of the color until you get a nice seamless blend and a nice seamless gradient on the crease and brow bone area. Once we have the lid shades down, I'm going in with my highlight shades, and I'm using the shade Feather, which is the light pale yellow shade from the palette, and the shade Bone, which is that ivory shade, and I'm mixing them together and applying them right beneath my brow for a highlight. I'm using my MAC 252 large shader brush for this, and I'm just blending out the color as I go. And I'm going back in with the Eddie Funkhouser blending brush just to remove any harshness from that brow area. Now I'm going in with the dark black shade from the palette. This is the shade Jet on the Eddie Funkhouser brush. And again, using very little of the color, we're going to slowly build up a little bit of depth and dimension on that outer V and outer crease area. So I'm just applying a little bit of that color, as you see, on that outer lid and blending it back and forth, using kind of buffing motions to really blend that color in. And I'll go in and wipe off the excess off the brush, and then now go in around the edges to make sure that we have that seamless blend. Now we'll go in with my face primer. This is the Makeup Forever Step 1 primer, the smoothing version, and I'm just applying that around the perimeter of my face in my T-zone area, and I'm grabbing this CC Skin Perfecting brush from IT Cosmetics. This is meant to apply your skincare products, your primers, your lotions, and the sort. So I'm actually just using this to buff out the primer. And this brush is said to have skincare benefits as well. So I don't know if it's embedded in the bristles or in the handle and it's dispensed in some way. But anyway, continuing on, we're going in with a little bit of the mattifying primer now, also from Makeup Forever. And I'm just applying that directly in my nose area where I get very oily. I'm using the same brush just to blend and buff that out. I really like the texture of this brush. It feels really nice. And I'm going to try to use it for foundation as well. But I like to have this brush to use for my primers and skincare products. Now we're going to grab my foundation. This is the Laura Mercier Candle Glow Soft Luminous Foundation. I'm using the shade Pecan, which is a beautiful match for my skin tone. And I'm going to blend this in over my skin using my MAC 170 Synthetic Rounded Slanted Foundation brush. And this is the brush that they recommend for use with their cushion foundation. And I find it works really well to buff in foundation, liquid foundations especially. I really love this brush. Now I'm going to apply a little bit of mascara. I'm starting out with a primer. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Base Primer. It's a white primer. I really like this primer actually. I highly recommend you try this out if you haven't tried a mascara primer. It gives fullness and length to your lashes. So I apply that to my lashes first, and then I'll go in with the L'Oreal Voluminous Feline Mascara. And I'm just going to apply that to my lashes to create a nice, full, rich black lash. Now, this mascara is not my favorite. It does clump up a bit, and it doesn't give me the volume that I want, but it's still a decent mascara. Now we're going in with concealer under my eyes. This is the same Urban Decay Wet Less Coverage Concealer in the shade Neutral Dark. And I'm grabbing some of my Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer in the shade Blanc, which is just the pure white. And I'm applying just a little bit of that under my eyes to help brighten up the under eye area and brighten up that concealer that we applied. And I'm going to blend that out using a very soft Chikuhodo brush. I'm just buffing that concealer out just to give us a nice, soft, flawless airbrushed finish. Now, I'm going back in with my Shuimura sponge. I love this sponge. I forgot how much I love this sponge. And I'm just going to tap over the edges of the concealer and really tap it into the skin. I find that a brush just blends the concealer out, but the sponge really presses it into the skin and evens it out. And I'm going back in with my foundation brush around the edges to make sure it blends in with my foundation shade. Now I'm going to set everything in place using my Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation Powder. This is the shade Medium Dark Golden, and I'm pressing that into my skin using my Tarte Powder Player large kabuki brush. I love this brush so much. Press it into your skin just to set everything in place. Then I'm going to set my brows in place using my MAC Pro Longwear Waterproof Brow Set Gel. This is in the shade Brown Ebony. I'm just going to apply that to my brows. Now I'm going in with my blush. This is a Becca Mineral blush in the shade Songbird. It's a beautiful kind of peachy terracotta blush, and I'm just popping this on my cheeks using another one of my Chikuhodo brushes. This blush is so beautiful, so natural, and it has a little bit of glow to it, so you don't necessarily need a highlighter with this blush. Now I'm going in with my Rimmel Sculpt and Contour palette. This is the deepest shade. This is number 3, and I'm just using the contour shades in the hollows of my cheeks with my Urban Decay Angled blush brush, and I'm just going to chisel out the cheek area and then also apply a little bit of this to the temple just to give my skin a little bit of dimension. Now, even though I don't need any highlight, I'm still going to go in with one. This is the Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked Bronzer in the shade Ready to Go. And I can't use this as a bronzer. It's not deep enough, but it does work as a beautiful highlight shade on deeper skin. So I'm applying that with my Inglot 4SS brush just on the tops of my cheeks. And then I'll go back in with the larger brush just to blend the edges out so it doesn't look too harsh. Now for the lips, I'm using one of the Smashbox Always On Liquid Lipsticks, and I love this formula. Like, without a doubt, this is one of my top 3 favorite liquid lipstick formulas, and this shade is True Grit, and it seems to be sold out because it's a really popular shade, but if you can get your hands on this, I think it's a beautiful deep brown fall shade. It's so gorgeous, and it's so comfortable to wear as well. So I'm just applying that all over my lips, and it has great opacity. But I'm going to go in with a lip brush. This is one of the Smith Cosmetics brushes. It's a beautiful brush to use for liquid lipsticks and really adding definition to your lips. It really helps to crisp up that line and give that sharp shape to the lips. I'm going in with Brew-Haha Cream Eyeliner from ColourPop. I love their cream eyeliners, and I'm just going to apply this to my lower waterline area. Instead of using a black, this one is going to tie together the browns on the lid space. And I'll go back in with the Oak eyeshadow from the Kat Von D palette, again on another Smith Cosmetics small, I think this is their small liner brush, and I'm just going to apply that directly to the lash line area, and it's a very tiny flat brush, and it works great to get into those little tiny tight spaces along your lower lash line, or say for a cut crease. Now that was giving me a bit too much definition, so I'm going in with a small Haku Hodo eyeshadow brush and blending out the edges of the color. I added a little bit of eyeshadow on the tips of the bristles and just blended out that lower lash line area. Now we can go in with our lower lash mascara. This is the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash Mascara, which is my all-time favorite lower lash mascara. I don't think I'll ever use another mascara for my lower lash line. Now I'm going in with a Vivid Baked highlighter, also from Makeup Revolution. I'm just going to pop that on the inner tear duct area to add a little bit of interest and to brighten up that inner tear duct. And I'll go in with the large blending brush and just blend out the edges so it doesn't look too harsh or too intense. So here are the eyes completely done. They're really simple, really subtle. You can pair this with any lipstick look, but I love the look of it with a dark brown lip. In my haul video, I did use more of a burgundy berry lip, so you can definitely switch up the lip.
Alright guys, so hopefully you enjoyed that get ready with me video featuring this very simple look. I really love how it turned out. Like I mentioned, I think I want to do a warmer brown on the eyes next time. This turned out very neutral, very kind of a gray tone brown. But overall, I still love how it turned out, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. As usual, I'll leave a full list of the products used down below in the description box in case you missed anything. Definitely check down there, and I'll leave links to my Instagram and Twitter as well where you can follow me along. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye guys.